Francisca e João. In this presentation, we're going to talk about digitalization and how it affects the world, the society, the nature, and the culture. Okay, so what is the meaning of the word digitalization? Okay, so digitalization is a process where you take, for example, an item, a service, or a process, and you turn it into a digital format. For example, a book. You can take a book and turn it into a digital, into any book. And that brings a lot of advantages. Like, for example, for students, it saves a lot of back pain, for example, and because students can only bring like an iPad or a phone or something like that, and can have all the information they need instead of bring like books. Okay. So, what is the digital transformation? Digital transformation is a process where companies use technology to improve their results, so they can they can be more beneficent with the technology. They will be more productive, and they will be more lucrative. Yeah. So, how can digital transformation make a positive contribution in the world? In this PowerPoint, we focus on three areas. There is nature, culture, and society.
So I'm going to talk about the impact of digitalization in society. Okay. Mainly, this digitalization has changed specifically the way how we all see the world and the way how we play our roles in the world. It changed the people relationships and our behavior, and indirectly it changed our consume pattern. This happened because everything nowadays is away from a click, and so everything basically becomes so much easier, and this has some disadvantages as people start to underrate the relationships with other people, start to underrate the value of work, for example. They become more distracted, demanding, and it had an impact in our community.
We have many examples of digital society in our country, but one of the main example is the Via Verde in Portuguese, or Green Way, and that's a station where in the highway where you can, when you go in the highway, you need to pay for it in some places. The Greenway can permit you to don't stop in the highways and just continue going, because there's a device in your car that pays for itself automatically. It's associated to a bank account that can pay the taxes or in the highways automatically. I wanted to know if there's any example of digitalization in our country that you like to share with us, so we can write on board.
Yes.
Anyone wants to say an example?
Yes. For instance, in our country, nowadays doctors have the access to all the information of the patients in a mobile device. They can have the access to X-rays and to all the medical information, and that provides a better medicine, more efficient treatment, and so that has an impact in the health of the population. You know. Do you have any examples about how digitalization affects society in your countries?
Yes, we may say in Turkey we have a system. It's called e-state, electronic state. I mean, you don't have to go to official buildings to do some processes. For example, getting your ID card, getting appointment from an hospital, from a doctor, and other things. You can take your some information from e-state, and all official departments of state, for example, ministry or other departments of the state, are in the same platform. It's called e-state in Turkey.
Do you still have like the analog alternatives?
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
We have the same system in Portugal as well. Yeah.
We have some basic digitalization in Poland. Let's introduce ourselves. I'm Tom, Kasper, Kuba, and Patrick. Okay. Social aspects. Self-service touchpads. We got this in which burger restaurants. We have special self-service cash registers that use Wi-Fi to transfer orders directly to the kitchen so that the chef can serve guests faster and more efficiently. It also used to develop photos by connecting to the app and the camera. Okay. Like we got also the GPS trackers to improve the work of waiters in restaurants, in which waiters have orders transmitters using Bluetooth modules that track the location of the customers that order the meal for. And last one, students all over the Poland use the Citizen mobile application that allows you to store all documents on the phone using databases and mobile transmission.
Okay, so in Poland we have an application called Panic Car Sharing.
Again, in Poland we have an application called Public Car Sharing. This application allows us to rent a car, and like the cars have GPS module to track the cars, which you can choose from the map from the application. And all the cars have electronic locks that you can open from the application, and the car payment, is measured by the kilometers or the time you have spent in the car. Okay, so also in Poland we have a shop called Żabka. In English it's a little frog, let's say, and it's like in the shop where it's very popular with Polish students because it has very good offers and deals for good students like us, let's say, and It's something that if you want to enter the shop, you have to scan the barcode from the application, which is linked to your bank account, and you just walk to the shop and grab whatever you want and just leave, because the cameras are watching what are you buying, and the payment is your account will be charged once you shut the door. So you just go, grab something and go out basically.
In Poland we also have something like the Portuguese Green Way. However, it is only used for the for the trucks and cars with trailers. So that when you go on the road, you get the thing called viatol. So like a greenway, you go and you get charged every payment zone. So that's
In Portugal, for instance, to cross, a lot of people that work in Lisbon live in the other side of the river. So every day they have to cross the bridge. And it could take 3 hours every morning to cross the bridge, because they had always to stop to pay. It was not much, €1 or something, but it doesn't matter, you have to stop. And nowadays, with this system they invented, and they already spread all over Europe, it's for people that have 24 hours a day. I don't know if in your country you have 24 hours a day. You have 3 hours less just for traffic, can you imagine? So it's, and I imagine if you are working and you have a truck or something and you have to stop every time, so at the end the company is paying much more for the same products. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really convenient.
So, what about the roads? Which roads? For example, in Turkey there is a system, a rapid passing system with an etiquette,
Yeah.
but on highways.
Yes.
Between cities.
This started in highways, but nowadays they have also fast roads that are not highways but are, and they have something like a portic, they call it, and when you go through, it reads the device you have in your car, and that's it.
May I give another example from Turkey?
Yes.
Yeah. During the COVID-19 pandemic, our Ministry of Health, Turkish Ministry of Health, they developed an application for follow the COVID, affected by COVID-19 people. It's called Life at Home. And you download the application, and application give you a code, and all COVID-19 affected people has a code, and if you want to go somewhere, a district of our state, you can check the COVID-19 situation, COVID-19 situation in intensity on it. If there is a huge red point, you don't want to go there, because there is lots of people in these districts affected by the COVID-19. and also they can check this code when you want to go when you enter some shopping mall and other cinemas like that. It calls life at home. Life at home.
And shortly, this application says you, according to your location, how many people are affected around you. And it's safe to go there or not, with colors, red, orange, yellow. Shortly,
That's very useful.
For example, while you are walking on the street, the policeman can ask your code, and if you have to be at home because of affected by COVID-19, but you are walking on the street, and policeman can give the punishment to his or her anyway.
In Portugal, we now have an example how to use digitalization in this time of COVID. Right now, if we have the vaccine, we have this digital certificate.
Mm-hmm.
I think all of you have.
Yeah.
have that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's very useful to travel, to go to the mall, to everywhere.
And they can check from our code are vaccinated 1 or 2 or 3 doses. Our Ministry of Health also matched our ID, Turkish Public ID, and our code, and they can see all information about us, vaccinated, infected, or other things. And the other one related to highway in Turkey. We have a system. Here is a start point, and about 500 kilometers, there is a other point. You entered the highway start point and drive, but you should drive there under 130 kilometers. Am I right? Yeah, 130 maximum speed in highway. And if you drive there 150 or 80, this 2 point calculate your average speed. Average speed.
That's really bad.
If you want to drive high speed, for example 150, before the end point, you have a rest for 15 minutes.
If you have a spot.
They are going to do that in Portugal, because until now they're going to do the same in Portugal, because until now it's just they from point to point they have scanners, so they read your velocity. But now they are going to do the same. But yes, it's good to have a rest from once in a while.
15 minutes if you want.
Yeah.
Does any other team wants to share?
Yeah. I think we can, we have something we'd like to do, maybe? Or, yeah. Could we borrow the screen? So, in Norway, most of the stuff in school is done through computers. So, absence and hand-ins, all grades. And you may have noticed that we don't have any pupils because they wouldn't let us bring anyone with us. But there is one pupil that we would have been allowed to bring with us. And Alan is going to tell us about this thing, maybe. Yes, there was one people we would have been able to. Dus wat is het eigenlijk?
Okay. During the pandemic, we all found out that it was difficult to not be in school to get contact with each other. And during the pandemic, and at the end of it, in Norway they tried to find out a way to get the pupils who were not allowed back when the other was allowed back because of handicap or not getting the vaccines. So they created a kind of a robot, a doll, which we called Wally. And this Wally is been placed in the place where the student is supposed to sit, for example here, and could be involved in the action in the classroom. When the pupil in their back home, if they move their faces, this will move their faces. Yes, and if he have a question, he can raise his arm. If he want to show expressions, he can show expressions in his eyes. Of course, the teacher have to know what the expression means, but sometimes the expression means, I don't understand a thing. That's not good. Sometimes the expression means, this is good, this is fine, I really enjoy it. I was very skeptical as a teacher, because they don't get to be involved. I thought he just was standing there and they were maybe watching Netflix, because I can't see that he could fool me. Watching Netflix, you do it sometimes, don't you? Yeah. Supposed to be in the teaching situation, but you had two computers. So I thought this was not a good idea. Then we had a survey and asked the people who was not allowed to come to school. And they said something completely different. Because one of the one I had a survey about was a multi-handicapped boy who's not supposed, and it's very hard for him to get to school. So is he going to school, he needed two men to help him carry him in, one aide at the whole time. And he thought this was very difficult. But with this thing, he felt he was a part of the class. And when he go to group activities, we can bring, as you see the model here, we can bring him to the group activity. And he got a whole new kind of experience with the other students. He felt involved. Because when he came with his bed, we have to roll him in with the bed. The other pupils were a little bit, afraid. It's a little bit skeptical, and we didn't have space. Here, you just take Wally and put him in wherever they go. And if the pupils is nice to him, he maybe can join them in the cafeteria. If they are, depends, of course, students are not the same. Sometimes they are allowed, sometimes they need some space from Wally. But it's a remarkable thing for students who's not allowed to go to school for various reasons. Okay, that's an example from Norway and Digitalization.
Wow. Amazing.
Okay, we have some examples as well. First one, we have electronic grades at school, so Laura, you can describe it.
We used to have these little books where the teachers would put our grades or marks, but in like the last, I don't know, like 5 years or so, they created, or like we use an application for it now, where we only have like electronic grades, so we can access it through our phone. I'm not sure if it's gonna work for me right now, but we call it bakalage, okay, it's not gonna work for me because I'm not connected to the internet, but it's an application for our school grades.
Okay. Another thing is yes. So we have in Czech Republic some sort of similar as in other countries, but this is a little bit more special. We have electronic highway vignettes, which is well, these vignettes are electronic. They are scanned by the sensor above the road. Yeah, buckle up. Okay, I will describe it later.
So this is it. I would have to sign in, which I'm not gonna do, but this is their webpage, and I'm not really sure what to show you, but yeah, this is the application that we use.
And it's just for grades, or
yeah, for grades.
you can.
But you can also have
There's more information
there are
about
timetables,
your performance. Let's say.
absence.
You're gonna see your average grade from
Yeah.
from a certain subject. So if you have like 5.5 and 2.1, yeah, you can calculate. You know, you will have you have to final result. Yes, calculate the final mark. What do you got?
Yeah, they're saying here that over 60% of all schools in the Czech Republic are using it, so it's quite popular.
And your parents should check your children online if they are in the classroom, if they have the application in mobile phone. So it's very helpful for everyone.
You know, if they are skipping a class or something.
If they are in the class.
It's IT
Yes.
policeman.
We'd rather something like this, but we have it.
We have it too.
We have something similar, and I can, at hotel in the mornings, I can give all my students back home remarks without showing up. They think I'm not from Turkey, they can relax, but they can't. Because I can control the absence from Turkey in a system like this.
I heard that it also affects, or this is where our salaries is sort of calculated.
Yes,
so when they tested the system, there was a month where they, for some reason, someone made an administrative error and not, put out all the schedules.
Yes.
So people didn't get their money at the end of the month. Actually. Yeah.
Whoa.
Wow.
Well.
What about the online tests, like through some web pages to take exams?
Well, they had it when they were in the pandemic.
Yeah, but when we were in the pandemic, we used like Google Forms mostly. But yeah, that's you can do it from this. Co?
Formuláře jsme používali, když jsme vyplnili jaký ABS.
So we have also online tickets for public transport. When you want to go to do metro or bus or tram, you can buy online tickets or in phone. It's much more easier. You just put the SMS, you write some code. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and the software will send you the ticket. That
and then the controller asks you if you have the ticket. You show the SMS and it's okay. So yeah.
So you don't have to go to like the train station and buy like the physical ticket. You can just
and it's you get this message to 2 minutes, so it's
much more faster.
Yeah, and you don't, as Laura said, you need to go far to get
you don't have to stand in line or anything, and be worried that you're not gonna catch your train.
It's much easier.
The SMS with the ticket came in like 1 or 2 minutes.
What's next, Thierry?
So maybe now we will skip to the next point.
Okay.
You will have the opportunity again to show this. So now the second topic is about how digitalization affects culture. Okay, so digitalization on culture and help us reaching and getting in touch with other cultures way more faster and getting more information. That is possible not only because of technology, but also because of creation and participation, creativity that we have. It can brought us like new and mixed experience. Not physically, but virtually, we can still feel very much alive. Digitalization also brought a new form of art, the digital art. Have you heard? For an example,
in Portugal, we have during COVID and pandemic, we have concerts and shows online. This is a festival that happens online for the people at home, so you can feel like you're living a normal life rather than lockdown maybe. And we also, and this is an example of digitalization in culture and how it impacts. And now you can say examples from your country, from culture if you want. Do you have any examples?
Just the same examples, online concerts and activities.
we also had an exposition about Van Gogh in Portugal that had like some that had some paintings and activities that were by digital form, were interactive. So that's another example. So from your country.
We can like visit museums from online.
Yeah, yeah. Like
yes, galleries, museums, and also old books, historical books.
And also like you can visit theater through virtual reality.
Yes, yes.
Also, in Norway we have something that I think it became more popular, especially in the pandemics, because you have something called Stolpejakten, which is you have like checkpoints all around the city, and they're all made by volunteer organizations. So you go to some checkpoint, probably like is maybe a public place or something, and you have some information. So this was a historical site for this and that reason. And the voluntary organizations that maintains these checkpoints, you can donate money to them to make sure that they can keep up, their works, even in a time like this when there is less activity and less stuff to make money off of. And people get outside, move around a bit, and
Yes, and I would like to add that in Slovakia during lockdown we had a chance to be in the quotation marks, so to watch concerts, like concerts of galleries and libraries, cultural events.
Okay, so in Poland we have pretty much the same things as you do in other countries when it comes to the museums and historical places, and also concerts, and also culture. But very interesting thing is like the most the biggest castle in Poland, Malbork, or Marienburg in German. It's implemented something like panels in some places that show the 3D simulations of the time lapse of places that were built. So the castle has a lot of history, and not all places were the same in respective eras, in respective historic periods. So they show how the castle was built time to time. And also, it doesn't replace a guide. However, the panels also have information in all languages for people to read about the castle. It probably will be. It actually gets more popular when it comes to the historic places to use those panels. But I recall that it is used in the Malbork. And in Poland, we also implemented the application for phone that shows, that allows you to search for places that are worth visiting. And you, in application, you input what distance do you, max distance you want to travel, and it will show you interesting places. It's not only the historical places, but it also shows like viewpoints and all that kind of stuff.
What's the name of the app, the application?
We will look for it online, don't
Okay,
worry.
okay. Don't worry.
It's okay, later.
Okay,
Jak?
Polskie szlaki.
Polish roads, polskie szlaki.
Polish tracks. Polish tracks.
Yeah.
And of course, in our place, Łódź, we have a yearly festival, Light Move Festival, that in a festival we use lights for the art. So it may look like a film, but it can be used on any building. And a lot of artists all around the world are also there to participate with the art.
In Portugal, we also have that expositions, and it attracts lots of tourists and even people from our country to see.
Po prostu jakieś... Żeby pokazać, jak to wygląda.
So we are searching for the exposition of that for you to see.
Może inne.
And buildings doesn't have to be prepared for that, so you can use it on any buildings.
Yeah, we have something similar to this in Czech. So we call it the signal fest. So it's, we have
In Bratislava, we call it like each autumn. So laser race and it's also light festival. Bratislava, white night. White night. White night, yes, in autumn.
It goes like this. The robot will camera will be going around the museum like tourists do. So you can see from all the sides the exposition in the museum. So that way the tourist can feel like well he's not really there, but he can feel like he's there. And about the live online concerts, like it was implemented in pandemic for people to see concerts. But of course they can't go there because of the pandemic, and artists do it online. And it's
anybody want to say any more example?
Yes, from Turkish, I'd like to say something. Obviously, digitalization brings us enjoyable things, and as you said, those are different things. But I want to change the side of the medallion, and I want to look the situation the other side. I think digitalization affected our relationship, especially among the youth. As an important part of the culture, language is most affected part of the digitalization, I think. Especially while our youth people messaging
Yes.
online, they use different words which they can understand among
Code language.
and they use some abbreviations, they use different words from their language. Sometimes I checked the text messaging on WhatsApp especially, I couldn't understand. But they can understand. What's the situation in your country? Is the most important thing, the effect of digitalization as a language in our country. Could you, the same situation in your country? Yes. Do you use different meanings of the word while you are texting and some abbreviations?
Why do you
example,
choose some abbreviations?
Abbreviations?
Why do you choose it? Is it
Yeah,
because
for
it's easier?
example,
It's easier, like instead, like, I'm gonna write, in Portuguese, why is porque, and we just write,
yeah.
because it's first time, yeah.
You can understand.
Oh, it's like,
okay.
yeah, so this is the word.
This is the word, and
in
your
text, we write this way.
This way, for example. In Turkey, I think everyone was familiar with this abbreviation. They use this abbreviation.
Oh
but,
my god. Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, oh my god.
Oh my god.
But it's not Turkish. Why do you use this abbreviation in your text message? It's not Turkish.
Yes.
I think you have a same situation in your country.
On the other hand, we have the opportunity to know more about the other languages as English. You know, I understand what you're saying because we end up to mix languages while we're speaking and while we're living.
Yeah, okay, but if you want to learn another language, please write the English whole sentence, not some words, some Turkish words, some English words, or some Portuguese words and some English words. Don't mix it, and don't lose your language.
The roots of your country.
And even worse, sometimes they try, not just the youth, but the adults, everyone, they try to use an English word and change it a little bit and try to put it in a Portuguese way, and it's completely wrong because it's not that way. So it affects our language.
Yes. But I mean, it's not like that it's new that you use foreign words. I would like to say, you know, I mean, in Norwegian, probably most of the fancy words that you use if you want to show that you're an educated person are from Latin or French. Or some other language. And of course, you know, it's also could be seen as a dialect, sort of, right? So it's a way of communicating with other young people, not necessarily us. And you know, in my opinion, that's something that's you know, it's kind of creative. This porque
Evolution.
thing, you know? Yeah, it's evolution. And you could say it's telling the river to go in this direction. You know.
Yeah.
There may be. But,
or maybe we can do like this. We are talking about effects, I mean positive effects of digitalization. Yes, we can order our meals, we can buy our tickets, and we can do a lot of things by internet and by digital technologies. We may do like this, positive effects of digitalization and then negative effects of digitalization by two parts. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Okay. And the second one, I think in Turkey we are losing our traditional foods. And why? Because especially during the pandemic, families prefer to order their meal online because their children wants to eat fast food. But traditionally in Turkey, our mothers cooked, and father cooked our meal for dinner.
Mostly fathers.
Mostly fathers in Turkey. because I cook. I love food, and I love eating, so I can cook. But nowadays, I realized that slowly, day by day, we are losing our traditional foods. It's other side of the culture. Food is a very important part of the culture, and I don't know why, but our children wants to eat hamburger, pizza, and the other fast food. But it's not traditional food.
They add some drops of something in there that just make them want to go down again.
Make them
addicted.
Addicted, yes.
Yes.
Addicted. Yeah. Maybe.
It's my theory.
Oh.
Because it doesn't work. That food, it's not tasty as it is our traditional food.
Yeah, I couldn't remember its name, but I know. So
very well. Vai começar a
Yes, but it's 3 times cheaper. So instead of 15 euros, you can pay only 5.
One of them is public scooters. So digitalization used nowadays lets us rent electronic scooters. And it works the way that the scooter contains, like, inside of itself contains battery, like battery level sensor and GPS trackers. By that you can see in an application where like a scooter is located, you can either like take it from far distance, or you can just go near it, scan the QR code and get on and ride to your destination. The next thing is plant and animal identification. There's an app called in Polish Encyklopedia Zwierząt I Roślin. Basically, it means that, but in Polish. The phones, also an app, the phones access the database containing like different kinds of animals or plants, and we can just like with our phone scan the plant and it can tell us if like a mushroom is toxic. And the next thing, thinking about pandemic happening all over the world, Polish zoos have decided to like not close and let people learn. They have created websites on which like you can visit them and by that visit the zoos, and while you are like watching photos or taking a trip around a zoo, a pleasant voice is telling you facts like this is a feather of that and that animal, or the stuff about the said animal. And that's it.
Thank you for your attention, and thanks to Christian and Julia for making the presentation.
Normal price, around 9 euros. If you take the meal like the roll and 7 o'clock, you pay
The things that will matter, like the values, the activities, practical activities, when people.
Addiction, digital addiction, or screen addiction. We cannot live without screens.
And we don't enjoy being in nature as much. Because then in the middle of the forest, you lost connection. And now, if someone wants to contact with me, what is going to happen, you know? It's that addiction.
And another thing,
I don't
in
have
my opinion,
that sort of addiction.
They know everything about us. Your bank accounts, your phone numbers, your address, your relatives, your children, where do you live, what do you eat, what do you enjoy, everything.
Even face
Nowadays.
Yes.
Is it good for us or not?
Fingerprints. Fingerprints also.
Yes,
also fingerprints.
Everything, every data. And every data they have, amount of companies, you know, social media companies, Google, Facebook, and others.
I guess I saw a documentary about the disadvantages of internet and social media, and the ones that scared me the most were the ones that said that this type of things can influence us, and in some way they change our perspective, and I don't know,
Manipulation,
even
you mean?
politically, economically.
Changing your mind and manipulating. Yeah, it's also important thing, especially for young people, our students. They are teenagers and they are open-minded for effects of other opinions. Maybe will be harmful for them. And as you know, if you use social media, they always suggest something. Maybe people you may know, or something you enjoy to eat, somewhere to go, to want to go. That's why it's I think a little bit strict topic. Yes, digitalization makes us rapid and make easy our lives, but on the other hand, about databases, they have everything about us, every data about us, and it must be, in my opinion, it must be under control by states or laws, because in all countries for now in the world, there is no law about saving databases of people. Which topics, which categories, which data can they save or not? It must be under law, under control, in my opinion. And finally, I'd like to